About a week ago, I announced Indigo Park, my very own indie horror game. Indigo Park is a game where you break into an abandoned amusement park and meet the park's AI assistant, Rambly the Raccoon. We announced the game with a short trailer showing off the logo, the environment, and a beautiful animation by Jake Neutron of Rambly the Raccoon. But I got a lot of questions about the game, and I figured I'd answer them here today. Before I get into the questions, I want to let you guys know about my Patreon. That Patreon is basically how we're funding the entire game. I'm showing early access footage, letting you guys make decisions about the game. So if you want to support the development of the game, go check that out. And also subscribe here on YouTube. Thank you. First question. How large is the game going to be, and is it going to be chapter-based? I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one, aren't I? So to answer the second question first, the game is chapter-based. And I know a lot of people are going to hate on the game for that, but take this into consideration. I am a brand new game dev. This is all very new to me. The only project I've ever made is Reincarnated. On top of being a game dev, I'm also trying to be a streamer, a YouTuber, and I'm a full-time college student. So for a game like this where a chapter system would make sense, it's only logical to release the first chapter, see how it goes, and then start working on the second chapter. Otherwise, I'd have to develop the entire game with the chance that it may flop, just for me to be sinking that much time and money into this project. To me, I'd rather get you guys a chapter to play, see how it is, and if you like chapter 1, we'll go on to chapter 2, and so forth. Now, to answer how big the game is, we're aiming for about 30 minutes of gameplay in the first chapter. Now, keep in mind, I'm doing this over the summer. I'm going to be working on it, probably beginning of the school year here. If people love chapter 1 and it's doing really well, that should open the door for me to put a lot of time into making chapter 2. So when it comes out, please support it. Is this connected to Reincarnated at all, or is it going to be a complete standalone thing? This is a brand new game, brand new characters, brand new setting. Everything is new to me. Other than this, Reincarnated is the only game I've ever worked on. And because they're in the same genre with the same general ideas, I think you guys are going to see that a lot of the visual design, a lot of the gameplay, a lot of it is very similar to my previous work. However, this game has zero connection to Ban whatsoever. This is my own project. This is something I'm making with my own characters, everything. What's the price? How much money am I going to get my grummy little hands on for you playing this game? Nothing. Like I said, I'm a new game dev. And if you guys played Reincarnated, you know that it was pretty buggy. You know that it didn't have the best performance. And I mean, obviously it didn't. I made the game in a week with zero game dev experience. So why should you give me $5, $10, $20 for a game that you don't know if it's going to perform well or even work at launch? I don't think that's fair. So chapter 1 of the game is going to release completely for free on Steam. You can already wishlist it now. And my hope is that you guys like the game enough that we could eventually do a chapter 2 or chapter 3 and so forth. And that might cost a little bit of money just so I can pay my artist. I'm a college student and I've already dropped so much money on the art, the animation, the game assets, everything about this has cost me a lot of money, but it's a passion project that I genuinely think can be something amazing. So yeah, it'll be free for you at launch. But hey, if you guys do want to support the game, go check out the Patreon because I'm a broke college student trying to pay for this all with my own money. And every penny helps me pay the artist to make sure this is the best game it can possibly be. UniqueGeese, I am disappointed that you are not a ripped twink that is cute and malleable and easy to hug and hold. Gosh damn it. How many chapters do you plan on releasing? So I'll talk about this in a minute, but when it comes to story, we have the story for chapter 1 ready to go, and we have a general idea of where the story is going. We know where we want it to end. We know what can happen in the middle. There's a lot of really cool ideas around this project. But specifically on how many chapters, I don't know if I can answer that right now. I know for sure it would be chapter 1, chapter 2. I can't see us going more than 5. 5 seems excessive. I think at 5, I would just start doing like other projects. I don't, I don't know. But basically, the development of each chapter completely depends on the chapter before it. If chapter 1 does well, that's going to give me a sign that it's financially okay to spend a ton of time working on chapter 2. If we put chapter 2 out and a ton of people buy it, that'll let me fund chapter 3. So forth. At the moment, I would say probably like 5 chapters planned. That's not final by any means, but it's all going to completely depend on how you guys react to the game and what you guys like. So will Rambly get a little silly in the game? I hope he does. I don't really know what you mean by get a little silly, but he is a very silly little guy and I love him with all of my heart. Do you already have a full story and lore planned for the game, or do you just have lore for chapter 1 planned? Also, in terms of development, would you consider creating a team of developers for future chapters so you can make the game even more amazing than it already is? So again, I already talked about this, but we've got the game plan for where we want the whole story to go. I mean, obviously there's specifics that like we haven't taken the time to develop quite yet. It's a lot of work just to get the first chapter out. As far as developing a team, I mean, I've already got a ton of people who worked on Reincarnated, plus a couple others, and that's kind of our team. I mean, I'm doing all the coding, the compiling, the story building. A lot of that is all just being done by me. But yeah, I'm more than open to bringing on more developers for the game. That just means more money that I have to pay out for the game to get made. And again, I'm not going to make anything off the first chapter, so we're trying to play a little bit conservative. And then if you guys like chapter 1, we can branch out and just keep making it bigger and cooler. But are there any plans to add a handsome, muscular character? Jumbo Josh for reference. Yeah, so actually Sussy Wussy is going to be the main villain of this. I love you, Polymars. Why choose a raccoon for the mascot of the game? Are there any other characters? Raccoons are cute. I mean, look at this guy. But as far as other characters, I mean, you've been introduced to Rambly the raccoon, but also in that teaser, we kind of subtly announced Molly Macaw. Molly is an aviator parrot who loves to take to the skies with planes of her own creation. I love this character too. I'm really excited for you guys to see her in action in game. Such a cool design. I'm so happy with how it turned out. But there are a lot of other characters who may appear in chapter 1 through posters or may appear in chapter 1 as characters that you see, but there's also a lot of characters that we might save for future chapters. So again, the scale of the game grows as the reaction to the game grows. I don't know if this was explained or shown before, but when does it take place? Like the year and stuff. So the game actually takes place in current time 2023. That being said, we're not going to be like super trendy with stuff at the time. I mean, like the character's not going to whip out a cell phone all the time or anything, or like film a TikTok or something. But for those trying to do calculations of when the park shut down, open, blah, 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 2023 is when the player enters. What's Rambly's favorite color? Well, the game's called Indigo Park, and Rambly's a little bit purple. Red. What was your main inspiration to make the setting a theme park? I was a bit surprised by the theme, and I'd like to know your thought process behind it. Yeah, so I mean, growing up, I was a huge fan of specifically the Disney parks. And now I spend a lot of time watching like Disney park YouTube videos and like tours and events that they do and stuff. And even outside of the Disney parks, Six Flags, Universal Studios, Knott's Berry, all of those big names have such a cool and like, forgive my branding language here, but like magical feeling. When you step into one of those parks and you know that you're on vacation and you don't need to worry about anything going on in your real life, you can just have fun. And you're able to do that because of the theming and attention to detail they put into all of the parks. So I knew I wanted to do an abandoned place. I just have a lot of fun designing those types of environments, and I think they fit a horror game very well. So when I started brainstorming ideas for what we could do, I thought back to Reincarnated, where I put TVs into a hallway because it kind of reminded me of the queue lines waiting for a ride that might have like safety information or like advertisements on them or something. Just the amount of ideas I have around like parody of theme park stuff and different areas that we could develop for each chapter. And like, there is so many ideas I have around theme parks. And because I'm such a big nerd for them, call me a Disney adult if you want, it just made so much sense that Indigo Park had to be the setting. It's crazy because I'm like not even that big of like a Disney fan. Like I don't really go watch Disney movies. But if you ask me about Haunted Mansion, I'll rave about it for like 3 hours. It's crazy. For now, I think that's enough questions. If you guys have any questions that you want answered, leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to either answer them in the comments or save this for like a part 2. I am planning quite a bit of development content around the game. Now keep in mind that probably won't come until after the game's actually out. But as far as like these Q&A videos, keep the questions going. Thank you guys so much for watching. Wishlist the game on Steam and have yourselves a damn good one.